Yeah, hi. Today I'm trying to do a complete analysis of NQ for May 10th, starting at 12, 12 a.m. So I was thinking that I kind of understood mostly what happened, uh, all the moves from midnight to next, I mean, till 2 p.m. on Friday. But okay, let's see what I used. So in this I'm mostly using standard deviation and breakers together and midnight price and also SMT. So there's a whole lot going on. Okay, I think they're all playing well together. So before I start, what I did was, I mean, this is usual stuff that I do. So since we are going up, so I try to bring in all the breakers from the previous history related to this flow. So right now we are going up here, so our next possible 4-hour breaker is sitting here, which came from here. So this is the, like, basically low is taken out by another low, and this is the breaker that we are currently considering. Okay, so this in the 4-hour time frame. And if you look around here, there are nothing that interests me. But if we had to be bearish, then we could go all the way to here. So this is the 4-hour breaker that could bring us into a bearish territory. So here is the bearish guy that is sitting there. So I'll just have it just to just so if price goes there, we can have a narrative. But if we go above this, we are 100% sure that we will become bullish all the way. So now if you see here, this might be confusing. So this is like the weekly breaker. So from the left, if we look, this is the weekly breaker. So we are uh, still within the weekly bearish breaker. So I also have that in there. And on the top we have a daily bearish breaker here. So if you go on the daily chart, so if you look at the breakers, so a high, I mean, like, yeah, so this is considered as like a high and a higher high, then we come down, then this becomes the breaker. Whatever you see in here, whatever I mark becomes the breaker. So that's correct. Okay, so this becomes breaker. And if you go on the weekly time, yes, we are still within the weekly breaker. So there is still a possibility that this can all become a wick and come down. So that is the understanding. So now let's go into the current uh, current price action. So obviously we don't trade anything until we have the midnight price. So let's go and hit play. So here we have the midnight price. So since this is, oh sorry, okay, since this is like 15 minutes, it's going so quick. So let's do 1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute we have our midnight price here. So our midnight price is here. Let's have a mark. So we have midnight price here. Okay, let's mark it as, midnight. Okay, so after midnight we kind of have a uh, basically we took a low from here and we kind of have a inversion, but yeah, let's not project too much of there. So here, what is happening here, like when we come to the 15-minute time stream. So right now the time is at 1:15 a.m. in the morning. So what happened here? If you see, we have formed a breaker in 15-minute timestamp. The way we decide is like we have a low and we have a lower low, right? And a high. So during this process, we created a 15-minute breaker. So you can draw a breaker here. So hello. So this is your breaker, 15-minute breaker, and there is also another 15-minute breaker which is also here. Because we closed above. So these two are the 15-minute breakers. So now we are in the 15 minutes. So the way this is working is once we make a low and we have an inversion here, because this fair value gap here is taken over and we have a new fair value gap here. So basically we do a standard deviation when that happens. So you take from the low to the swing point that made that low. So you do it perfect. And what do we see here? What we see here is when we draw a standard deviation, the standard deviation will, like the idea behind, or the education that I have is we reverse or we reaccumulate at 2 to 2.5 standard deviation. Okay, so in this scenario, so we made the inversion and we went to 2 to 2.5. Now what what we expect is either we need reaccumulation or reversal. So our entry is we should be waiting at this breaker, the bottom breaker, because we also have a midnight price here. So we have so many confluence here. We have basically we have this clear move manipulation which took out the low of which took out this previous low, and we have midnight price and we have a breaker. So the best place to enter is here only, obviously. So let's go to 1 minute chart and continue playing. So basically we won't be entering until we come to the bottom. Okay, so now assuming that we are going to have a reversal reaccumulation at 2 to 2.5 standard deviation, right? So if you look here, what is happening here is we have a basically we have a range here, and we went away from the range and we created inversion here. Okay, it's not complete yet, but it's at a place where it is 100% possible, because we need to go back and retest this breaker here. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to draw another standard deviation. I'm going to draw another standard deviation from here, because this is the swing low to swing high. So what are we showing here is the standard deviation is saying that we will hit midnight and we will go to 2 to 2.5, 2 to 2.5 in this deviation. Okay, let's see how it plays. Our play will become invalidated if we go over this. Like if we go, this standard deviation becomes invalid the moment we go above here. So the moment we cross this, then so this is wrong. I mean, this is incomplete. Means, so what happens is basically you have to get rid of this one and draw a new standard deviation. And let me pause it. So the new standard deviation is this one here, because this is the one which made the new high. Okay, so here this kind of makes much more sense, right? Because a standard deviation here is bringing, because our requirement was in the 15-minute, we just need to come and touch the breaker, right? Because we already created the breaker, we don't need to come here immediately. I mean, we don't need to come to midnight immediately, because these are all breakers. So they also play, they also work accurately. So okay, let's go back. So now, yeah, but remember, in the first standard deviation that we have here, our swing point is here, our 3 to 4 level is here, so we still did not hit the target for this particular standard deviation, right? So yeah, our expectation is once we hit 2 to 2.5 here, we will go back to hit this 4. Okay, so here what I just realized was I was trying to mark this as a standard deviation, right? So in a real trade, in a live trade, you might take it, but what you need to understand is when we did this inversion, we don't have any fair value gaps. So yeah, we might take it, but let's continue. Okay, so we are right on top of the breaker, and we reacted off of breaker, and if you look in the 15-minute chart, we are not, the breaker is expected to hold, and the standard deviation was hitting 2 to 2.5, and that confirms it. So now our destination is, we need to have a, we need to have a move to this 50. Until that time, we shouldn't be stopping anywhere. And at every step of the way, we know why this move will happen, right? So yes, we reached one side of the, I mean, one end of the curve. So what happened was, remember I was marking this 4-hour breaker. Our aim is to create a 4-hour breaker. Okay, so this particular standard deviation went to its destination, and if you see, there is one more thing that happened. There are so many things that you need to follow. One more thing is we have a uptrend, and there is another inversion here. So this is another major standard deviation that will give us much more insight. So basically what I'm saying is this particular standard deviation on the 5-minute chart, it's kind of telling you the destination for this move, and we can say what is my entry. So in this move, this becomes another breaker here. This is a 5-minute breaker here, and this 5-minute breaker is perfectly respected. Okay, and right now we came to the end of the move. Okay, and it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. Let's continue. So now we are trying to come down, right? So let's see what is in between here. So now if you see, we are in the bullish trend, right? And we will not allow any bears to take over anything, right? Of course, right? So where is the, like, if you draw in 1 hour, which is the bar that might make it bearish, right? There is this midnight. We can expect that there might be midnight here, right? This is the midnight bar. That could be a bearish, breaker, but we'll try not to come. I mean, since we are bullish, we'll try not to come here, right? And while during this process, we created another bullish breaker here, which is here. So what we expect is, we expect this bullish breaker to hold, right? Or any reaction into this bullish breaker, because we have like 15-minute bullish, so all this to be holding. But how do we know, right? So we come here, and so right now this is the price action. Let's continue, and here you don't find anything. So here we have another inversion. So basically what happened here is, we know that there is a 1 hour breaker here, right? We know 1 hour breaker is not going to go away and we know that there is a 5-minute breaker here. So when price comes to them, obviously we're going to react, right? So the first time the price comes to 5-minute 1 hour breaker, we just fly back. And during here, if you do a standard deviation, which can be done from here, done from here to here, so again we are at 2 to 2.5 standard deviation, and yeah, this could be a reversal zone. Come back, and so this particular move, we formed a breaker here. No, we didn't form a breaker yet. Okay, now we formed a breaker. time frame, we have another inversion. This inversion is saying that we might go to the top of the daybreaker here. And it is possible. It is 6 a.m. So, but what is going to offer us support, right? So we have this breaker here, this 15-minute breaker, that could offer us a lot of support, and that is coming up at this standard deviations range of 618 to 0.5. So and this is fair value gap. Oh, this is amazing. So I would like the price to come to 57 and then get out of here. Okay. So here, what do we have here? A range and a manipulation here. So now we have a swing point. We have an inversion here, right? So we inverse this gap. So once we have a inversion, then what we need to do is we need to do a standard deviation from the top to the previous swing point. This is wrong. So once we do a standard deviation. So the main thing to consider is all the inversions. You need to remember all the inversion. Whenever there is an inversion, you need to be on the money. Okay. So now the price is just chilling here, 630. So usually we come to 1.5. If not, yeah, we don't know. So yeah, so in the morning at 7 a.m. we took out the high and then did the inversion, but the move did not come. It might be coming now. So we made two lows. So luckily we did not do 1.5 yet. So that means we're going to go to deeper retracements. When you don't have 1.5, we might go to deeper retracements. Sometimes we go to okay, we go into 1. So this is awesome. 1.5. When we come to 1.5, we could easily reverse. So this time is like 8 o'clock. So we are just slowly coming down. What you need to expect is there's a lot of liquidity here. This is called liquidity. All this is liquidity. So mostly we can see a move that takes out all that liquidity. Okay. So we expect the liquidity to be taken here. Okay. Once we took the liquidity, then okay, if you hold here, basically what this is saying is our target is somewhere down here, like 3 to 4, and this is the 15-minute breaker. We do not, I don't think we do not want to let the market become bearish, right? So that's a 15-minute breaker, and a possible another 15-minute possible breaker is here, right? So we do not want this breaker to form. Okay, see how perfect it is. It means what I mean by that is we have 3 to 4 extension of this standard deviation going here, and we have 15-minute breaker here. So if before a 15-minute candle closes, it'll do a tap, and you can expect it to go back to high again. I mean reverse again, because we are in upward uptrend with, are we forming a 4 hour breaker? No, we did not form a 4 hour breaker. We're close to forming it, but this is like a complete uptrend. So the expectation is to finish this, and then remember this big one, the big guy here, the big inversion. For that big inversion, coming back here is not a problem. Okay. So it's at 8:45. We just keep going. So we hit this, and if you notice, the time is around 9:06. So if you look at the 15-minute chart, the candle did not close below the 15-minute breaker, and we have this bullish breaker, so that means we are still bullish, and we just came and touched the bearish breaker, but the bull, if they are strong, will not let this breaker to continue. So okay, so now what you need to remember is this guy, this particular standard deviation reached its destination. This is out of the picture, so just take this out. So you need to look for, what do you need to look for here? We need to look for a move that is going to go back, because this particular standard deviation that we got on the bigger time frame, it did not finish yet. Its target is somewhere around here, 3 to 4, or at least 2 to 2.5, right? And we have news, so let's see. And we go to the 1 minute chart, and we kind of need to move the standard deviation. That's how it should work. Okay, now we are looking for a inversion, right? We are pretty sure of the bottom thing. Now we're looking for an inversion. And did we get an inversion? We did get one here, yes. So we are almost in that. So let's continue. And if we want to do a standard deviation, let's do on what we got. So that is 1. So for this we are showing we will go here to 4, 3 to 4, because we just got one reversal. And okay, let's stop here. 31. So now what is happening here? We see on the bigger 5-minute chart, we have a breaker that's forming here. So the entry was here, because we were initially thinking about going to 96, but our big brother, this one, is saying we go somewhere else. So but our level was only based on this standard deviation. Yeah, this was a little bit difficult here, because I think I needed to draw it up here, but anyway, because this 2 to 2.5, let's see. Now we have to say that there is a lot of liquidity here. So we reached 4 here, and we reached 2 to 2.5 here, the bigger one, and we took out all this liquidity. Then we can look for a reversal, then unlock. So here what happened was we went to the destination for this big one and with this small one as well. So now we need to look for a reversal here. For the bigger one we have so many things left, and if you see on the bigger time frame we have a 5-minute breaker here. But one thing you need to keep in mind is, above all this, we have a midnight price that never got tested, and that's not a good sign. So we look for a reversal. This is complete, that 2 is complete. So okay, so here, yes, we got our entry to go down here. This is where here we still did not get a breaker here, but our breaker will be here, and we also have a breaker here. Both of them the same, we're going down. This is the entry here. If you do another standard deviation, the first one is coming here, but the main thing that we are targeting is, our target is at midnight, right? Oh, we already have midnight. I didn't say that. That was fast. And that's it.